There's a movie I really love called Master and Command that I've seen it many times over, and it is every time I watch it, I feel something different when I watch it. I see something new in it. I see it is such a brilliantly composed piece of historical drama. It is historically like accurate down to the buttons on people's waistcoats, and that sort of level of detail. It is a masterpiece of historical fiction. Based in the Napoleonic Wars in, I believe, like 1807 or something like this, when Napoleon is master of Europe, and it features the fictional warship, the man of war HMS Surprise, in pursuit of a French man of war, the Acheron, who is trying to dominate trade routes to the Pacific around Cape Horn and the, 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 the passage connecting traditionally the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, following Captain Jack Aubrey, Lucky Jack of HMS Surprise, the great captain, the captain of the ship played by Russell Crowe, and the second major character, his doctor, his ship's doctor, Stephen Maturin, and at its core, Master and Commander is a bromance movie. It is a bromance between Paul Bettany's Stephen Maturin character and Russell Crowe's Jack Aubrey character. And there is tension between them and tussle, and there's this brilliant subplot of the Doctor wanting to go to the Galapagos Islands to catalogue various species of rare and unknown species of animal, and particularly a form of flightless cormorant, which he knows because he's a naturalist in addition to being a doctor, that he knows is a new discovery in science, and that he will be he'll get to present his findings to the king and so on, and go to a Royal Society dinner and have all these little honours and accolades that he sort of lines up in his mind possibly and fetishizes a little bit, and does sort of want that sort of honour and so on, and the joy in discovery and being a scientist and all this sort of thing. Then on the other hand, you've got the conservative character. Stephen Maturin is more like the liberal character, and you've got the rather conservative Jack Aubrey, who is motivated by duty and less by ambition, and more like because he's got to take out this French warship, and it's all he's thinking about. And the Stephen and Aubrey come to loggerheads sometimes. There's just some fantastic quotes in the movie, like when they're finally on the Galapagos Islands. Jack, believes that they're going to stay there for a couple of weeks. The Doctor got accidentally shot by one of the Marines captain on the ship as he was trying to shoot an albatross, which is, of course, a reference to the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Maturin gets shot. He performs self-surgery on himself, removing the musket bullet from his abdomen, and successfully does that. And then is on the Galapagos Islands with Aubrey, and Jack Aubrey says, the Acheron, they'll be well away by now. Like trying to find an honest man in Parliament. what a beautiful bit of dialogue that is, like, for one thing. And then he says to Maturin, like when he's saying like, you can wander the island for a couple of weeks and collect samples and do your naturalism science stuff. And Jack says, like, name a shrub after me, something prickly and hard to eradicate. And Maturin says, a shrub, nonsense. I shall name a great tortoise after you, Testudo Aubrey, which I thought was fantastic. And then there's an earlier scene with Maturin and Aubrey in the officers' dining room and having dinner. It says Maturin says to Aubrey that the Surprise is a somewhat aged man of war, like this, and then Aubrey gives him a sort of a slightly sort of condescending, but not condescending as such, but a slightly helpless look. And he says, "Would you say I am an aged man of war, Stephen?" Like, he's like, yeah, no. Oh, like he's got lovely lines. She's fast, very fast if handled properly, And like, no, she's not old. She's in her prime. And I love that. Like, and like as someone like a young man now entering my prime, my 30s, and warming up for life, like it sort of reminds me that, like, because Jack Aubrey character is about 40 years old or so, the ship's captain. That's when you sort of take on responsibility in life, isn't it? You enter your prime, you're sort of 30 to 40, 40 to 50, like you sort of cap out about then, don't you? More like in life, I think. And always struggling like to think like which character I'd rather be. Would I rather be the Doctor, Stephen Maturin, or would I rather be Aubrey, the captain? I don't know like which I'd be best suited for. Maybe Aubrey, you know. Maybe I'm more like that sort of figure. Then I've always felt like really nerdy as well, and really interested in things like physics, frankly, and engineering, and I'm a big movie geek, and I read lots of books, and I'm a bit of both, I think, really. And so, like, both these characters speak to me on a really deep level. I really connect with them, and there's arguments between them as well. Like, you know, like Stephen is trying to convince him at some point to try and give up on his campaign of trying to capture the Acheron and take her as a prize. And, you know, he says something like, you know, this is a ship of war. You know, I will grind whatever grist the mill requires to fulfill my duty. And it's just like, I think of like the motivation behind Aubrey when he's like saying that sort of thing. It's a great line as well, one of many great lines. But it makes you reflect on duty, doesn't it? And I think a lot of us in life feel a bit listless and a bit disconnected from a sense of duty and from a sense of living a life of service, possibly. Well, I think we all need that to some extent in life. Like, what is our duty in life? I think it's to honour our talents, isn't it? To honour the talents we've been born with, to honour our deepest desires and our ambitions, and to try and, if we can, serve our communities, leave the world a better place than how we found it. And I think I was living in Speckled Wood at this National Trust property like for a year, basically take a year out of life to go do a bit of volunteering and learn about the countryside and do conservation for a bit. Like, I think most people who do that sort of thing want to really do, and I love that. But living at Speckled Wood, I would repeat lines like from just to myself, just for fun, really, talking to myself more or less, from Master and Commander. Like, I was like about Speckled Wood, like pretending she's a battleship. Like, this is a ship of war. I will grind whatever grist the mill requires to fulfill my duty, and all this sort of thing. Like, she's got lovely lines, and she's fast. Like, oh, she's not old. She's in her prime. I love that. That is Stephen Maturin is Irish, by the way. So what it is like an English and an Irish gentleman together on a ship. You know, just playing violin and cello with one another, and you know, just having it in their downtime and just supporting one another's efforts. And it was a great bromance. It is the great bromance movie, in my opinion. And we all need a bro in life, and I've had many bros in my life, many people I love, mates I love, and actually, like, bizarrely enough, a lot of those mates of mine have had an Irish connection. I don't know what it is. At school, my bro, Louis O'Sullivan, etc. At Premier Inn, my bro, Kyle Geraghty. There's a few others, like my bro, just now here, James O'Mara. Like an Irish bro. What it like, and I'm English, so maybe I'm Aubrey. And these people are like my Dr. Stephen Maturin characters who keep popping up in my life. So like, that film, like, and the books, like, have always been the Patrick O'Brian like books that they're based on. It's been very important to me, I think. The late 18th, early 19th century Napoleonic War was naval warfare, and like the ideals of manliness and what it means to be a man, really bound up in these things, these sorts of stories. These are sorts of stories really for men, I think. It's very like male orientated, or it contains a great message for men. The Master and Commander film and the books indeed. But yeah, like it shows you all sorts of things about the politics of the era. It remains important, significant for the present day, issues of class, status, the politics of war, the politics of science and discovery, and crucially, what it means to grow up and take responsibility and to act out of a sense of duty. And yeah, it's one. It came out at the same time as Return of the King, so it didn't win Best Picture at the Oscars. But I think it should have done, actually. I think like the Lord of the Rings films, like actually won a few. Well, the Return of the King is excellent. All of those Lord of the Rings films are excellent films. They're beloved. But I don't know. Master and Commander is such a great movie. It is Russell Crowe's greatest performance, in my opinion. Like a lot of people say it's Gladiator. I don't think it's Gladiator. I think it's Master and Commander. His greatest performance. It is required watching. If I ever raise a son, like that would be required watching in my house. Indeed. Like like I say, you must watch this with me. This is just beyond. It's a life lesson. It's a great life lesson. It deserves watching again and again and again. It is a masterpiece. But yeah, it shows you like how to act in war, how to act out of a sense of duty, how to take care of your friends, how to punish people when they need to be punished, how to give life, how to take life, and it's a history lesson as well. It shows you that the past was human as well, that these people were real people. You know, they weren't just the effigies that historians have crafted in their writings. They really existed. They had lives. They had beating hearts and fears and doubts and crises, and they had courage, and they had intelligence and their own interests and personalities and all these sorts of things. It is the most one of the most well crafted pieces of historical footage almost that has ever been contrived. Yeah, it is a brilliant movie. A lot of people, like the young, will probably say, "Oh, that's like this is just like boring naval warfare shit." It so isn't. There's so much more in it than that. It's yeah. It's something that it's so quotable as well. Like I should be well aware by now. It's like looking for an honest man in Parliament. Like I always just use that again and again when I can't find something. Like, oh, my keys. Oh, I was like trying to find an honest man in Parliament. Like, oh my god, I got to tell you this one as well. The humour of it as well. That they were funny as well. Yeah, also the people from the past were funny. Because like there's this great scene, this really memorable scene, where the Doctor and Stephen Maturin and all the officers are around the dinner table, and there's a couple of weevils eating a bit of ship's biscuit, which is like a sort of lump of dry, stale cake stuff that they all would have eaten back then. And Jack Aubrey leans across the table to Stephen and says, "Stephen, you see those two weevils? Like, which would you choose?" Like, Stephen says like, I would choose neither. There was not a scrap of difference between them. They seem to be the same species of Calculia. And then Aubrey says, if you had to choose, which one would you go for? And Steve says, I would choose the right-hand weevil. It has significant advantages in both breadth and girth. And then Aubrey slams his fist on the table and says, I have you. You're completely dished. Like, don't you know, Stephen, that's in the service, one must always choose the lesser of two weevils. And everyone cracks up at that, obviously, because what a fantastic joke it was. But yeah, stuff like that. It's a great film. Everyone should watch it.